Imagine being able to rewatch your favorite TV show with your best friend, who has literally never seen an episode before. That's our premise, and what we hope will set us apart from the other Office podcasts you may have stumbled across. So welcome to Bears Beats Bobbleheads, Talkin' Office, the podcast where three brave souls discuss every episode of The Office, from pilot to finale, and we get a fresh reaction from someone who has just watched the episode for the very first time in their life only hours before. Enjoy the show. Hello and welcome to Bears Beats Bobbleheads Talking Office, and we are all the way to Season 2, Episode 6, called The Fight. This episode was first aired November 1st, 2005, written by a new writer here, Gene Stupnitsky, and directed by Ken Kwapis, who, if I remember right, Paul, you had said has been directing some of your more favorite episodes. So excited to hear your take on this one, on The Fight. Those of you unfamiliar, our Office podcast is a little different than others you may have found because we have a co-host, being Paul, who has never, ever, ever watched the episodes that we cover until the day of recording. He has never watched The Office before in his life. It took me starting this podcast to get him to even watch the show, and he agreed to do it. That is our gimmick, and we are keeping track of what his favorite character is as he watches these episodes for the first time, and I guess who his favorite character is would be more grammatically correct, and as well as which episode is his favorite, and so far it is Jim and the Alliance in respective order. All right, guys, The Fight. Let's talk about, as we usually do, what our favorite moment is, and Joe, start with you.
Oh, because it's my hands-down favorite Michaelism when he garbles phrases. And it's at the end where he says, "Let's gangbang this thing and go home."
Oh, yeah, that is a good one. For me, again, another kind of an obscure moment, something that kind of happens in the background. I don't know why, but as I've said before, I gravitate towards these moments, and I look forward to seeing them. It is when Jim and Pam are trying to ramp up the fight between Dwight and Jim, and they're kind of walking behind Michael as he's going to confront Dwight, and Jim starts doing the Jets thing from West Side Story, like where he's snapping his fingers and walking behind him. Oh, have you guys seen West Side Story first?
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah.
God, yes.
I love that scene.
Okay. Did you catch that, Paul? Because it's kind of a blinker, or you'll miss it type of thing.
Yeah, I caught that. I caught him too, and he's egging him on too, and he said a jet is always a jet as well. So yes, he does it twice. Yes.
But the action thing, the thing he does, the dancing and the snapping fingers thing, I just lose it whenever I see it. So, Paul, what about you?
I think it's when we get the talking head of Dwight, and he's talking about being the senpai of his dojo, and it's a bunch of kids. And they go see him with a bunch of kids doing karate. And he's all excited about his purple belt.
Starting at the top here, in the cold open, Dwight arrives at the office to find his desk is missing. Now, Paul, I was expecting you to say this was your favorite part of the episode, because the way where was the last place you saw it? Jim,
You're the one who lost your desk.
What retrace your steps?
Oh, and then where it is, of course, is hilarious. And then to cap it all off, Jim calls his phone in the bathroom, and Dwight answers.
He starts asking about discounts.
And Dwight's like, "I've told you this like 20 times," and like acts like it's a genuine question.
And then Kevin walks out, and he tells Kevin to wash his hands.
Kevin walks out with the candle from Office Olympics.
The candle. The bathroom candle. Oh, fuck, yeah. Yeah, that was a great part, too. Oh yeah.
Oh, so these are the kind of cold opens that I'd say get more used to, because this is the gold cold opens that The Office became known for. But moving on, Jim overhears Dwight talking to his sensei. Is that your mom? He asks. Oh.
Oh God, it's my sensei. I'm his senpai. Do you guys know what a senpai is, by the way?
Are you asking us?
Yes.
I do
Assistant
know.
to the sensei.
It's the assistant to the sensei. It's typically the person who has been involved in the dojo for a very long time, and is typically a brown or black belt, not a purple belt. And is like the one that's going to be taking over the dojo when the sensei leaves. That's what a senpai is.
Wow. Okay, moving on. Pam talks about the perfect storm. That one Friday when all of Michael's procrastinations come to a head. Joe?
Oh, this is just brilliant. All Michael has to do is put his initials on certain spots on these forms, and I've seen people do this, and it's infuriating. Not my departments usually, but you can kind of see that happening around, where it's just like, just sign it. I'll get to it. He puts it off, and we'll get to it, because one of my favorite bits comes up is with Michael, and he's doodling. We'll get to it.
Michael sends Ryan on a secret mission to update all the emergency contact information for everyone at the office, Paul. It was a very, very top secret mission that Ryan gets sent on here.
Just because he doesn't want to fucking sign these things. It's very important, Pam, that we get this done. Yeah, brilliant. And we get, this also gives us insight into some of the other characters, which is nice.
Ryan reluctantly gives Michael his cell phone number, and Michael wastes no time in abusing this privilege.
God. Calling in character, man.
They're the worst impressions too.
He's
I know, I thought he had spot on Tito Jackson.
This is Michael Jackson. I'm calling from Wonderland. You mean Neverland? This is Tito. Holy shit.
Oh God. All right. We gotta keep going here, guys. We gotta keep going. I know this is hard not to just want to laugh for 30 minutes, but God, we almost could. Okay. Jim asked Dwight if humans and robots could ever coexist. Correctly sensing he's being mocked, Dwight more or less threatens Jim. Jim then reveals that he has stolen Dwight's purple belt and calls it a toy.
Hang on, Scott. Before that, though, he starts to answer that it's not possible because of the programming. Holy shit.
What I love about this scene is it's kind of going back to classic Jim Dwight interaction. We talked about it with the fire, how there was, the scales kind of got turned a little bit, and like I think Joe, you'd mentioned that he was Jim was kind of punching down in that moment. Here, Dwight's just being really, really Dwight, and it's totally fair and it's totally hilarious.
Absolutely. Yeah, Dwight's being a little obnoxious with his martial arts knowledge to an annoying degree. And this is like when I truly appreciate it. When that element of Dwight is pushing Jim into like, I got to retaliate.
You got to at least take him down a peg, because it gets to be a little much, right, Paul?
Oh God, yes. And this is great. This interaction with them is just fantastic.
Jim, acting the instigator, asks Dwight if he could beat up Michael. And Dwight and Michael have some very different opinions on this matter, Joe.
I just want to say, before this happens, is my favorite, one of my favorite parts, is Michael sitting in his office practicing signing his name. Signing the forms.
I totally missed that, honestly, on this rewatch.
Yeah, he's signing his name in different ways and different font-looking things, and like I spotted it. I think this was the first time I spotted it. I just was pulled over laughing. I was like, oh my god,
that's awesome. This is really the show that just keeps on giving. It's why it holds up so well to rewatches, because you just find these new things. And now I got to rewatch it again to see that, because I've missed it all this 40, 50 times I've seen it. Yeah, but let's talk about Jim trying to instigate this fight between Dwight and Michael.
Michael says he could kick Dwight's ass. It's really childhood. It's like playground politics at this point. Like, so and so said they could kick your ass.
Michael invites Dwight to hit him, and Dwight does just that, Paul.
And does two of the worst punches. And it takes the wind right out of Michael, and Jim walks him back to his office.
And he collapses onto his desk. The physical acting there by Carell was amazing.
So good.
All right, Pam asks Michael if Dwight can stay late to walk her to his car, all in an effort to get the fight started, because Jim has roped her into this scheme, and she is a more than willing participant. Joe?
Yeah, she's roping him back into another confrontation with Dwight. It's great. There's like these little things with this, like when Michael talks about how he beat up black belts. Jim asks him, "How did he know?" And they told me after. Then Michael's gang was the damn rascals.
Oh God!
Yeah, so I like, it's her prodding this and like Michael's weird backstories, and then it also leads to Dwight's talking head, which kind of pushes his screwed up family a little bit more, where we find out his grandfather was a World War II veteran. He killed 20 men and spent time in an Allied prison camp.
And then his dad fought, was it heart disease and obesity, which was a different kind of fight.
Such a good line. Oh my God. All right. Tensions escalate, and Jim suggests that Michael and Dwight hash it out at Dwight's dojo, Paul.
Oh my God. Yes, they should. And then they bring up the one we're talking about. Was it, the Albany office is cutting back lunch hours because of late cutbacks and layoffs. And here's Michael, who's extending their lunch hour by an hour so they can go to a dojo and fight.
And with that, I think we are going to go to our first break, and we're going to come back and we're going to talk about the fight from the fight. We'll be right back on Bears Beats Bobblehead Stocking Office. If you're enjoying our Office podcast, be sure to check out Cast That Movie, the podcast where Paul and I, using our superhero aliases, revisit failed cinematic projects from the past. We discuss what went wrong, and then we try to fix the mess by going back in time and recasting the project with a cast we feel would have elevated the material. We also assign a new director/visionary. Because you can never have too much of a good thing, we also conjure up a dream project of something we would like to see made into a film, and we cast that as well. So find Cast That Movie on Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, or at our home at thejodown.blog. Welcome back to Bears Beats Bobbleheads Talking Office. We are on Season 2, Episode 6, The Fight. And speaking of the fight, we are now at Sensei Ira's dojo. And we start with Jim and Pam. They're kind of playing around, just goofing around with each other. Jim gets a little too familiar, I guess would be the word. Pam notices other people noticing, and things get weird quickly, Paul.
Yeah, I was a little surprised by this. This was a little bit of a, I should say, somewhat of a slight left turn. A very nice, leisurely curve, left turn in their relationship.
All right, let's talk about the fight. Joe, Let's talk about the fight.
Well, first, Michael not really understanding the rules of how the points are made. Dwight kicks him, he gets a point, sets Michael off. And these two just, it's so awkward. And then Michael just grabs Dwight's leg and just tackles him to the ground.
Paul, what was your thoughts on the fight?
Oh my God. Okay. So first of all, we got a good Karate Kid reference when Kevin tells him to sweep the leg. I'm so lost it there. I want to explain a little bit about the belt system, because what makes this absolutely hilarious is that a purple belt is not a bad rank. Like you're close to that. Once you get to a purple belt, you're about one level below. You get to your brown belt. In that style of martial arts, the Gyro-Ryu. And the fact that Dwight is that bad means that the sensei probably just gave it to him because Dwight was hounding him to give him a new belt. Because, Joe, I think you know this. We had friends that were in martial arts as well, but you have to go after you get your yellow belt, you have to go to competitions and perform katas and perform in order to get it. And if you don't get it at those in front of everyone, if there's not an agreement that you earned your next belt, you don't get it. So this just means this guy was giving him belts. and he grabs him and he does the jump kick, which was a sloppy jump kick. And then he grabs him and Michael's yelling 1 point, 2 point, 3 point. And I don't know if you guys caught it or not, but I don't know if it was left in or if it was just from the filming of it. They are all losing it. Like at one point, I caught the ref laughing his ass off.
Yeah, that was a thing. People were laughing. They couldn't contain themselves filming this. And can I just say my favorite point is when Michael has Dwight on the ground and he's going to spit in his mouth.
Open your mouth.
Child.
Like a schoolyard bully.
Open your mouth, Dwight.
Paul, you mentioning the people laughing, I should mention that that is the office for editors was a nightmare because of how it was shot. You know, a lot of it was, I think I mentioned, like guerrilla style shooting. You know, the cameramen just find the shot, and then they hand it off to the editor and like, all right, make this work. This is not the only time you're going to catch people laughing because they didn't have an alternate take to use. Like there are scenes that they'll do 20, 30 times and people either break or someone in the background breaks and they just kind of have to roll with it and be like, well, it's documentary style. It's a funny thing happening. A character very realistically would break out in laughter. But yeah, that's a fun thing to look for is when people break and just can't contain it because it happens a lot.
Oh, it was so apparent in this episode. It really, really was.
So that is the fight, but the episode is not over yet because we go back to the office and Michael is on cloud 9 after his victory, going so far as to quote Al Pacino in Raging Bull. You talking to me?
God damn it, Michael. I mean, let's be fair. They're the same people. I got him confused in Casino.
Pacino wasn't in Casino.
I know. That was a joke.
Michael is less than happy when he watches Ryan ignore his call. And then Ryan, in turn, plays all of the voicemails that Michael has been leaving for him throughout the day.
It's 7 missed messages from Michael. And I'm assuming this is not throughout the day. That was just his lunch hour. Because Michael will tell him in the office to answer his phone.
God. He does Saddam Hussein. He does his girlfriend.
I'm mad. Jim is drafting an email of apology to Pam, but he deletes it when he notices the camera catches it. He buys her a bag of chips and leaves it on her desk instead. Joe, what are we supposed to read into all this? where are things at with these two?
That's his apology. That's his nonverbal apology. Here's the chips. Sorry, this kind of got a little too far. That's what I read from that. I think with a situation like that, how do you even verbally express like how weird it was? Because he didn't really do anything wrong.
Right.
It's one of those things where they kind of like had that moment of like, oh, we crossed a line here a bit.
Yeah, and I mean, I really think it was someone else noticing it. Like I forget if it was Meredith. I think looked over her shoulder when she heard them chuckling and guffawing, and that's when it, she's a little raw, of course, after the Pam Pong comment from Angela a couple episodes ago. So she's like you said, she's aware. If he's not, she's aware for sure that there is a loose rumor floating around the office about those two. Paul, I want to get your take. Do you feel bad for Jim in the moment, as he's trying to reconcile how she reacted, or where's your head at on this?
Well, again, I think, he made a comment that he would get her a bag of chips earlier, that if she would help instigate this fight. This is a tough thing because there was a line crossed there in my mind. I've worked in offices where I've had I've had people affectionately, women call my work wife, and they've called me their work husband. And it's never crossed into the line of physicality like that. I know it was joking around, but I think what part of also crossed that line is during that scene, her shirt got lifted up. And I think there was a bit much there. So as Joe said, it's one of those things where how do you apologize for something like that? And I think the fact that he got her the chips she promised and was very sheepish was enough to show that he was actually sorry versus a verbal just saying you're sorry. That was one that where I think actions needed to be taken to show the apology.
Got it. Sick of waiting and wanting to go home, those who have been forced to stay late, waiting on Michael, come together to forge Michael's signature on all the paperwork at his behest as, Joe, I believe you said, let's gangbang this thing. This is super illegal, right?
Yeah, this is not legal. This is a highly fireable offense for Michael.
And all of them, I mean, honestly, right? I mean, this is a desperate act by desperate people.
They could always argue that he made them do it. HR or something, Michael would be the one who would be held accountable for this. They are his underlings, so.
Speaking of HR, though, Toby's involved in it.
Well, he wants those time cards filled out, Paul.
What do you do? I do love that when he said the gangbang thing, just everyone's face when he said it was just like, oh, shit.
Michael, in an effort to cool things between him and Dwight, finally promotes Dwight to the role of assistant regional manager, Paul.
In title only.
With caveats.
With caveats. He does not get the office as his office, or the conference room as his office. So this is my office.
Yeah.
I thought that was very touching. It was a very touching moment. And again, gave more humanity to Michael. And it goes to show that Michael is aware, at least, of Dwight's need to be recognized by him.
Can we also add that it's so unofficial that this position is that Dwight has to use whiteout to take out two. So he doesn't even get new business cards.
Oh,
I'm assuming he made those business cards himself anyways, Joe. So he just has to order the new ones. He just hasn't done it.
All right. With that, we are going to put an end to our rundown here of the fight. But we are going to take a break and come back and give our takes on the episode as well as who we thought won the episode. And then we're going to check in with Paul to see if the fight was enough to overtake the Alliance and if any character has overtaken Jim as his favorite. We'll be right back here on Bears Beats Bobbleheads Talking Office.
Hi, this is Paul Muad'Dib, one half of Podcast Above a Convenience Store Talkin' Twin Peaks, which I work on with Joseph Fremming, who's also on the podcast that you're listening to right now. we go through all of Twin Peaks. Season 1, Season 2, the movie, the books. Right now we're digging into Season 3, which will end the podcast with the final dossier, which was the last book that was put out by Mark Frost, putting a cap on everything that's happened in the Twin Peaks universe. So please, check us out. You can find us on the joedown.blog with everything else on here. You can find us on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify. There's no reason why you don't want to listen.
Welcome back to Bears Beats Bobbleheads Talking Office, and we are wrapping up Season 2, Episode 6, The Fight. All right, let's give our rundown on who we thought won the episode and what our takeaways were from the episode. Joe, get us started, please.
I really like this episode. It's got so many jokes going on in it, and for me, this is one of my favorite Dwight episodes. We get a little bit more of his insight into who he is. And he gets his one small victory here, which, you know, you don't get a whole lot in the world of The Office. So I'll go with Dwight.
All right, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go with Dwight. I believe for the third episode in a row, I've been picking Dwight. This is a string of episodes that they really excel with both the Michael and Dwight characters in rounding them out. But I think even more so for me with the Dwight character, I'm going to give it to him. Yeah, this is one of the best, I think, of Season 2. Just start to finish. Our rundown of it was proof enough, right? We were laughing so hard as we relived these scenes. Paul, what about you?
I would agree. This was like a highlight to me. I'm not expecting to laugh this much through the episode. Gosh, it's so hard for me to say who won this episode. I'm gonna go with Michael in this one. And the reason why I'm gonna go with Michael in this one is I love the fact that he's just procrastinating the whole time. Like the cringy, like you're right. Joe, I think Joe, you said it earlier. The cringiness isn't there, or maybe it was you, Scott. Yeah, the cringiness is gone, and that was one of the things that was really holding back Michael to me. And this is just blatantly like, this is so unrealistic in an office setting. So, and the fact that he then at the end recognized how defeated Dwight was, that he gave him an up.
All right, then let's check in with you. Is the fight, in your eyes, better than your what was your current favorite, and maybe still is? Is it better than the Alliance? This
is the new winner.
Oh,
we did it, folks.
This has overtaken the Alliance. Yes. This was front to back. I was laughing so hard through this episode. This was just a great episode. And I think part of why it took the Alliance is because it had that Dwight-Jim prank dynamic that started it off and just escalated up.
So it kind of is like a best of. It had all the great elements were in the recipe for this one.
Exactly. Yeah, this was like a best of because it had that. It had the unrealisticness. It had just the over the top jokes with it, and again the whole fight scene and the fact of. I still can't get over when Kevin told him to sweep the leg. And just the way he said it, too. It was so evil. So, yeah, this was a great episode.
So we have a new winner for Paul's favorite episode, having seen these for the first time, and it's the current episode, The Fight. Now, favorite character. Jim has been your favorite character from the start.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we at with that?
That still hasn't changed because with him, he knew where he went wrong and immediately did the right things, and that dynamic between him and Pam was there. And again, he was egging this whole thing on to make it happen. So, yeah, Jim's still my favorite character because he just knows how to get under Dwight's skin to make him get in a fucking dojo fight with the office manager.
All right, well, that will do it for Bears Beats Bobbleheads Talking Office Season 2, Episode 6, The Fight. And we are going to be back next week for Season 2, Episode 7, The Client. Another solid episode. Until then, that is Joe, that is Paul, I am Scott, and this is Bears Beats Bobbleheads Talking Office. For more podcasts like this one and general pop culture tomfoolery, be sure to visit thejodown.blog. That's thejodown.blog.